Hello everybody, it's Anne from Anne's Stampin' Up. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Simcoe, Ontario, and if you live in Ontario or anywhere in Canada, you can shop with me. You can reach me at stampsandtea@gmail.com, or my demonstrator website is stampsandtea.stampinup.net. Little chat first of all. I've had some feedback on my videos with not complaints but mentions about background noise, but unfortunately we live on a main highway to the lake, and doesn't matter what time of the day or night I make my video, whether I'm up at 5 o'clock in the morning or whether it's noon or after supper, it doesn't matter. There's just traffic going past all the time, and there really isn't a lot I can do about it. But I have found a button, a setting for my microphone to reduce background noise, so I'm trying that out today, and hopefully that will be a little bit better for everybody. So welcome everybody. We're going to use a new Stampin' Up bundle today. It's called Two-Tone Flora. It comes with stamps and dies, and I'm going to turn the camera down. So what we're going to use today is all in the annual catalogue. The stamp set is called Two-Tone Flora, and it comes with stamps and dies. It's a bundle, and it isn't a bundle, it's two separate purchases that work together. The stamps are on page 34 in the main catalogue, and they're $32. The dies are on page 167, and they're $54. There's no words in this stamp set, it's just all flowers and leaves. So for a sentiment, we're going to use something from another set called Circle Sayings, and this is part of a bundle. This goes with the new 2 3/8 inch circle punch that we've used in previous videos. The bundle is $56.50, but if you just want to buy the stamps, they're $33, and they're on page 17. So we've got some cardstock going on here. Let me just pop that out of the way. We've got the basic card is going to be Flirty Flamingo. The accents are Granny Apple Green and Daffodil Delight, and we've got some basic white cardstock. All standard sizes. These two are really just scraps that I'm going to use to cut flowers out and sentiments out. Let me think, what else do we have? We have some stamps ready, and we're going to need the large Big Shot, because I'm going to try and cut everything out together. So let's do some stamping first of all. Okay, so we need some leaves, we need some basic white for a sentiment, and we need this for a flower. Okay, so let's see, what can we do? Now the stamp set is the Two-Tone Floral stamp set is two-tone. It's you stamp a solid base, and then you stamp the detail in either the same color or a darker color. We're going to try it in the same color first of all. We are going to use Daffodil Delight, and we're going to stamp it on Daffodil Delight cardstock, because I don't want a white border around the outside. It might be that it doesn't look very good, and then I have to stamp it on a sheet of white, but we'll see. We'll go from there first of all. The other thing it could be is I'm going to stamp this Daffodil Delight off once onto a scrap of just old cardstock or paper, and we'll see how it looks. I've got a piece of, that's actually Lemon Lolly. That's a lovely colour, but it's a little bit too pale for what I want today, so we're going to stamp this here. I'm going to stamp it once. This is the base. Now if I stamp the base like that, it looks nice, except there's a mark on it. It looks nice, but I don't think the detail is going to show up, so let's try the detail. The detail is just the lines in the stamp, and you have to, I'm just going to pull this towards me, give it a second to settle. You have to sort of line this up, I think about there maybe, and stamp your lines. Now I do see lines in there, I do see some because it's double stamped, but I think I'm going to stamp the Daffodil Delight off once for the background. Let's see what happens if we do it that way, and then we can decide which flower we like the best. We get that all inked evenly. That looks better. Stamp it off once, bring it over here, stamp my flower. Now you see that gives me a much paler background, and that might be just what we need to make the detail stand out. So the detail is this stamp here, and we're going to stamp this full strength. Let me see if I can line it up again. What I'm looking at is this sort of whited out part in the middle, which is the flower stamens. I don't think it really matters, but it's kind of nice if you can line it up nicely. Can't really see, it's too pale to see, so let's stamp it and see what we get. There, we've got, you see how we've got detail. Now I don't know which flower we like the best. I think I like that one the best, so we're going to go with that one. So let me just close that stamp pad up, and then we'll stamp some leaves. We've got a couple of stamps for leaves. Again, we'll see how well this works doing full strength, and if we don't like full strength, we'll take it down to stamped off once and then stamp. We're stamping on a Granny Apple Green cardstock with a Granny Apple Green ink pad, and we've got like a sprig of leaves here, and we've got two little leaves at the side. So let's ink that up and see what we get for that. That's it, full strength. Stamp that again. Make sure I've got lots of ink on the bottom. Turn it around. Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So that's the stamping in Granny Apple Green, and then we're going to stamp a sentiment in Flirty Flamingo. And what does my sentiment say? It says, because you're awesome, and that's the stamp that's from the circle sayings stamp. And we're just gonna maybe cut that out roughly, you know, no particular shape I don't think. Let's stamp it first and see what we can do with it. Because you're awesome. There. I'm just going to stamp it in the middle at the top, because I don't know if I'm going to make it, I don't know if I'm going to mount it on something. I don't know if I'm just going to cut that out as a square. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet. Right. We might mount that on a piece of Flirty Flamingo when we get, you know, to putting the card together. So now we've got to bring in the Big Shot. And we're going to use, out of the set of dies, we've got two lovely sheets of dies in this set. One is this huge background die that covers the whole of a card face, and then we've got the different size flowers which match. There's five flowers, 5 flowers which match the stamps. Okay, then we've got a set of 2 leaves and the sprig of leaves that we've stamped, so we need those 2, and we're going to use the biggest die, flower die, because we stamped the biggest flower. So let me set that there so I don't lose it. And this is we're going to use this for the background on the card. It's a beautiful die. It's got lots of different flowers in there. This one here, when you turn it over, it would go that way. It matches the large flower on the front of the card. So let me bring in a plate here, and I'm going to tape these down right away so that I can then put this into the big shot. Which leaves are we going to use? These ones, I think. Yep. We're just going to cut that off, and that'll give us more room to work, and we might get that going through with the flowers and the leaves. That we're not going to cut. This we're going to. And it could be we don't even really need the biggest big shot, but we've got it. That's what I'm set up for now, so that's what we're going to use. So this is the largest flower die. Oops. Largest flower die, and you might have to play around with it a little bit to get it to, to get it to line up. That looks pretty good to me. I'm impressed. So I'm going to tape that down. I'm just going to tweak it a little bit. There. Tape it down. I think I moved it a tad, but it's okay. And I stamped the Daffodil Delight on Daffodil Delight cardstock because I don't want a white border around my flowers. Okay, so let's just tape this down, this set of leaves down, and this set of leaves. Move that tape there. I've got this one. It's a little bit harder to line the dies up when you can't get your head right over. If I put my head right over the dies, my head would be under the camera, you know. So it's a little bit harder to line your dies up exactly because you're sort of looking at your dies on an angle. So let's see what we can do. I'm going to trade those plates over. Put those like that. And we've got a piece of somewhere basic white cardstock here. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. We'll see. I'm going to put this on here like this. And hopefully we can scrunch it all through the big shot together on one pass. And if not, we'll do it all again. So here's the big shot coming in. Just pull that to me. There. So what we've got is, on one end we've got the two flowers, on the other end we have the really large die, which is going to cut out the background for the card. Let me pull this to me, and then you'll see it maybe go through most of the way, or come out most of the way. There's the flowers. This is the big die. Now, normally you get to the end of your die, you get to the end of your die and you stop because you think it's going to cut it out. On an intricate die like this, I'm going to bring it back and take it forward again and back. So that way I've almost cut this die out 4 times and I haven't moved the die. That's the trick. You don't want the die to move. Okay, so let's see if we've got anything cut out nicely. Okay, so there's one nice flower. And I'll just stick that on there like that. Whoops, oh, one nice leaf. A small leaf, lovely. That can go on there. I'm just going to cover that up so it doesn't blow away. This one's going to be the kicker. Let's see what we get for this. Might look good. Let me just shake these boards off into the garbage. Now, normally when you have a die this intricate, it very seldom cuts out all of the little pieces first time. Or I shouldn't say that. it cuts the pieces. It might not cut quite all the way through, and because it's intricate and because it's fine and tiny pieces, you see, you've got lots of pieces stuck to the die, but there's lots of pieces that are not stuck to the die. The pieces that are not stuck to the die are the ones that are going to give us grief, because we'll have to try and get them out somehow. Now you can sit and cut for ages. You can sit with your poker tool and poke them out, or you can use this one. Has lots of give to it. You see, this foam mat that we stamp on, it does not. So what happens is when you run your foam brush over these little pieces, most of them pop out, or can be sort of pinged out, if you will, when you hold the mat over over the garbage pail. We're just going to sweep that all to one side, and we'll do this again. And you can't be too firm with it, but you can be quite firm. And for the little pieces that don't pop right out, like the centers in flowers and you know, things like that, you can just poke them and they pop right out. See? And you can ping them off and just give them a little poke with your pokey tool or your multi-purpose tool, whatever you've got. Okay, so let me just get that out of the way. I'll just clean up some mess here. I'm just sweeping this to the side. Right, let me just put that down there. So let's have a look. Well, let me bring that mat in again, because it's a dark background and it shows you all the pieces that are nicely punched out. It's little pieces like these circles, you know, little tiny pieces that tend to get stuck, the center of flowers. That looks good. I'm happy with that. Okay, we're going to go with that. That might be the odd little, you know, tiny little piece in a flower that's still there, but that's okay. I think we'll just go with it for now. So then let's put this card together. Just set that over there, put the flowers out of the way. I need to score this. This is my Flirty Flamingo, and it is 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score it at 4.25. 4.25. There. So I need that for. Make sure it's nice and flat. There. Yeah, that looks quite even. Now we're going to take this piece and it's just going to go on the front like that, and it fits just perfectly. Okay. Just right on. There it is. So how am I going to attach this white piece to the Flirty Flamingo? I'm going to put a little strip, not a strip, but I'm going to use liquid adhesive, my Tombow adhesive, and I'm going to go down the two sides, but then I'm going to just dab some around on the flowers, on the back of the flowers, and just little points so that it's held down in several spots, because you see that's pretty thin at the top and bottom. I may not get adhesive along there, but if I can get it, you know, for sure down the sides and around, you know, several spots on the flowers, we can make it work. So I'm going to turn it down. Tombow. Let's clean it off. Make sure it's nice and clean on the end. There. Along the bottom, and then, as I said, just little dabs in larger areas. And it's surprising how much just that little dab of adhesive helps it hold. And I know I'm taking a little bit longer with this, but I don't want this piece to fall off. There, I think that should do. It's do a couple there and a couple there. Okay, let me turn that over. Just going to move that, bring in my card and make sure it's nice. And then somehow I have to get this picked up. Find a spot that doesn't have adhesive. Put it down on the front of my card. And then I'm just going to tap it so that it catches, so that the glue catches everywhere I've put it. Turn my mat over so it's clean and it's got no adhesive there, and then I'm going to turn the card over and press it down. Give it a good solid press. There. So that is held down for the most part. All over the card front. That looks great. Okay, so what's next? We're going to need we need to put the flowers and the leaves, the flower and the leaves on, and then decide what we're going to do with the sentiment. I'm going to put a little dab of liquid adhesive down there, just like that. Turn it over so I can see it again, and then put my leaves so they just stick out at the back. Just hold it for a second and lie it down again. You can lie it down as many times as you need to make sure you've got everything just where you want it. Okay, so then the big leaf is going to go right here. And again, turn it back over so I can see what I'm doing, and I can move it around if I need to. So, flower there, leaf here. I'll lie that down. What do I do? Here they are. My dimensionals. Now, I'm going to put 3 dimensionals on the flower, and then I might have to cut some dimensionals in half because I would like to have this little bit supported as well. I'm not just sure. That one's okay. Whoops. But I think the next one I'll have to cut in half because I want it to go at the top of the leaves. Don't know if you can see that very well. Let me just move my card there. Whoops. There. So I've cut a dimensional in half, and I'm putting half on this part of the leaf, half on this part, and I'm going to cut another one in half. I could have used smaller dimensionals, the mini dimensionals, but I'm not sure they're quite the same thickness as the large ones. So there we've got that nicely supported everywhere. You know, we've got some on the leaves, some on the flower, some on the leaves over here. And I'm just going to pop this flower on top of the big white flower in the corner. There. Now that in itself is a beautiful card front. But I think I still think I would like to put my sentiment on there, and I think we'll just cut this out roughly, put it on a piece of floaty flamingo, and pop it on the front of the card as well. So I'm going to cut this fairly close to my letters. I'm lining up my letters. Make sure it's straight. Yes. And then we'll just trim this down a little bit. Trim it right to the edge of the letters again. There, so we've got this very small piece that says "Because You're Awesome." We're going to put it on here, and then we're going to trim it again, and it will just give us a nice little border all the way around. trim it as close as I can to the corner, so I only have to trim 2 edges. So now we'll trim this again. Just give it just a little push back in the paper cutter, so we've got just a little border. Just a little border. We can trim it if we need to again. Let's have a look. We'll go back to the card. And I think we'll just tuck that in there like that, and we're going to put it up on dimensionals. 1, 2, and I'm using 3 just because of this lacy background. I want to make sure everything gets a grab somewhere. Just tuck it on an angle. There. So that's the card for today. Now when I started out this morning, I had a little mishap. What I was going to do was have a plain white card with this card, this DSP on the background. The DSP is from the Bright and Beautiful set, and that's the sheet I used. This, what happened was, instead of cutting, using the embossing, the die, to cut this out from the white cardstock, I cut it out of the DSP. The DSP was supposed to be the background. The DSP became the front, but it didn't look right on a white card, so I put it on Berry Burst. This is Lemon Lolly, and stamped the Lemon Lolly ink on Lemon Lolly cardstock, but the detail is Daffodil Delight. Okay, and then you've got some Lemon Lime Twist and Happy Birthday Lemon Lime Twist. So we've got 2 variations of the same card. These are my designs. Copy and share them if you would like to, and if you sell your cards, please use the Stampin' Up Angel stamp, which just says all the supplies used are Stampin' Up supplies. Thanks everybody. Bye.